Hello ladies and gentlemen, what's up? I am Darnok, bringing you another Starcraft 2 1v1 cast. Today I am going to be casting a best of 3 from the Asus Republic of Gamers GD Invitational, which, as I'm sure many of you remember, is the last series I casted too. That was from the same tournament. The previous series was from the finals, and now for this one we are going to the opposite end of the spectrum. This is a best of 3 from the very first group stages of that tournament, and I'm so excited. I love both of these players so much. I'm really looking forward to casting this series. Let me introduce them now. On Cloud Kingdom, in the lower left-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Zerg player, Liquid TLO, who is, as I'm sure many of you know, but just in case you're a little bit newer to the scene and don't know this yet, he is widely regarded one of the most creative, if not the most creative player in all of StarCraft 2, both because of his craziness in terms of strategies on the Zerg end of things, and then of course he did used to play random, and then Terran, and then random, and then Zerg. He switched around with races a lot, which has given him a very unique sort of portal through which to view the StarCraft 2 scene, and I got into TLO when he was playing random, and it made me so happy, because there are very few professional random players in this game. Currently 0, as far as I know. There was TLO for a while, and then I believe it was Gumiho who played random for a little bit. Was it Gumiho? It was an FXO Korean player. I know that much. I'm pretty sure it was Gumiho. Unfortunately, neither of them play random anymore. TLO, of course, eventually settling on Zerg. Gumiho settling on Terran, which was clearly the correct choice for him, since he is very, very good. Anyway, that's enough about TLO, though. His opponent is going to be the red Protoss player, MauZCC Mana, who's another one of my favorite players. He is a Polish Protoss, I believe. I think he has some alliteration going on over there. And I really love Mana because for a couple reasons. A, in a world where the only way to play PvZ, it was like this for a while, was to just do all-ins and cheese tactics and like early game rushes and all these things. Mana was one of the only Protoss players who was not afraid to play macro games against the Zerg race, and he won a lot. He did really, really well against the Zergs, and on top of that, so that was very cool. And then another time, another event that made me a big fan of Mana was back, let's say a year ago. I mean, this was a while, maybe even a little bit more than a year ago, but roughly a year ago, when there was a Korean Terran by the name of Puma, who was the most feared player in the entire game, especially by Protoss players for both his 1-1-1 build and just his sick play in the matchup. Mana was the only player, foreigner or Korean, who beat Puma in a PvT for like the space of 2 months or something. It was insane, and that made me very happy too. So I'm really a big fan of both of these players. They both have pretty cool play styles. They're both very, very good. Neither of them are like tier 1 players right now. They're not, you know, MVP or Life or anybody like that, but they are very, very strong. Mana actually won a DreamHack. I think it was DreamHack Summer. I think, was it DreamHack or IEM? He won one of those 2 big, important European tournaments. I really should know this, but the knowledge is escaping me right now. He won one of those very recently this summer. TLO hasn't had quite as much success this year. Really, his only big win was winning the GD Invitational Show Match Series. Not the Invitational, that's what we're casting now, but the GD Show Match Series that had another word attached to it, like Arena Show Match or Brawl or something like that. Melee, perhaps? Now I'm just listing Super Smash Brothers games, but I know there was some word like that was associated with that GD Invitational. Regardless, TLO won that, won a lot of money doing so, and he is going for a very, very fast third base, playing this map very Daybreak-like, just sticking on the 1 gas for the time being, so he's really going to be going for those drones and those queens, trying to get his economy in as great a shape as he can before he really starts to build his army. Okay, I have now completed taking off my hoodie because I was getting uncomfortably warm, so I can continue casting. In the meantime, we of course saw Mana go for a very, very fast Nexus, walling off with that Forge and the Gateway, and he's going for a pretty quick +1 ground weapons upgrade here, so we very well may see some sort of early aggression coming out here from Mana. He is going for a robotics facility, so if he is so inclined, he could go for some Warp Prism drop action if he adds on a few more gateways at the right timing. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, and if that is the strategy he elects to go for, then that could definitely work out for him, as of course TLO is pretty light on the units for the time being, and already Mana is going to be able to capitalize on this. There are a bunch of Lings over there, so they should be able to push these units away, but not without some trouble. Stalker and the Zealot are actually very, very powerful against just pure Lings, and Mana's still going to run away. He's going to start microwaving, and at the cost of letting his probe get away, he's going to have to sacrifice his Zealot. His Stalker took a few hits as well, but of course he is going to still have a good amount of shields left, so it's no serious damage being dealt to Mana for the time being. And just like that, TLO able to push away that little poke very, very easily. But we do see the robotics facility has completed. It is going to be an observer first, and now we're going to see a lot of gateways. And this is 5 gateways, and +1 is almost done. So what this tells me is Mana is less worried about the more tricky aspects of using the warp prism, you know, dropping behind mineral lines and warping in there, things like that. And I feel like what he's probably going to do is just go for some sort of big timing attack with those gateways and his upgrades as well. And I'm curious to see whether he starts producing immortals or warp prisms or nothing out of this robotics facility. That will definitely inform what kind of attack this will be. On the other hand, he's not going super all in. He hasn't built like 7 or 8 gateways or anything like that, so this could also be just a setup to take a 3rd base, but he has switched over to immortal production, so I would not be surprised to see that 3 immortal push that we've been seeing a lot in this matchup lately. However, TLO should be in a pretty good place to hold this off, I do believe, as he's already going up to a 4th hatchery, which is pretty insane. He's going to have a lot of production. Now, he's on pure Lings right now, which of course is going to make those immortals completely useless, but will allow the +1/+1 Zealots to be very, very strong. And with a good Zealot count and some nice force fields, TLO could find himself in some trouble here if he just sticks on the pure Zergling. And okay, both players starting to sprint up that tech tree now. For Mana, we see the robotics bay on the way, so he's still going to hold back just a little bit, continue teching up, get some Colossi out. However, TLO already going for the Spire. Where is that Spire? I hate trying to find Spires. They're so small. I always think they're spine crawlers. Here we go. There is the Spire coming out here from TLO. So obviously he's just doing this because he wants Mutalisks. That's the thing that's informing this decision. However, the Spire also, of course, going to be very handy at building Corruptors to take down the incoming Colossi. So TLO really getting a pretty good position here with his build order, going for those very, very high mobility units, the Speedlings, and then, of course, the Mutalisks. Really going to be able to take a lot of map control and expand to a 4th and maybe even a 5th base pretty quickly. And we just see the Observer get taken down there by the Queen Overseer combo. They're pretty happy with that, give each other a high five before they eventually part ways. And the Spire is almost finished. I'm pretty sure he still doesn't know about the robotics bay. Yes, that is correct. That is tucked away there nice and well. There's basically never going to be an Overlord that gets over to this position. The best TLO can hope for is to drop a Changeling on the high ground and then have it be lucky enough to get over here. Looks like we have some pausing shenanigans going on. Most unfortunate, but such is life. And there we see +1 flyer attacks and 12 Mutalisks on the way for Liquid TLO, which I love. I love watching Muta play. We don't see it enough. I think it's really good. We used to see it all the time. Protosses, of course, have gotten a little bit better at dealing with it since then, but still very, very strong, especially considering these Stalkers do not have a blink upgrade. And in fact, I don't believe there's a Twilight Council anywhere on the map, so these Mutalisks going to be very, very powerful until Mana is able to get the tech to be able to defend against them. And Mana spreading himself out across 3 bases right now is going to have some trouble here. The Lings poke forward. They see, oh, this is where the army is. They're doing some scouting for the Mutas. Now we can see the Mutalisks are heading straight towards the natural. And as soon as Mana pulls his army, if he pulls enough of it, TLO will, of course, attack in from the left with his Lings. And we see the entire army is going over here. So we should see the Lings get pulled here pretty quickly. Some Stalkers getting warped in, being taken down immediately. Not a single Mutalisk falling for TLO, and he actually did not go with those Lings, which is too bad. He could have been able to kill at least the probe and the pylon, but uh-oh, here's a big wave of Lings. Oh wait, alright, just a different group of Lings coming over here. That's going to be one dead Nexus. Oh no, the Cybernetics Core getting focused down as well, and TLO just got pretty lucky with this build order. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the win or anything like that. I'm not saying he's not very, very good. But Mana, just like I said, no blink for the Blink Stalkers. Twilight Council, not even, that's a Cybernetics Core. Twilight Council, not even halfway done. Basically giving TLO free roam of the map and to some extent his own base, Mana's own bases right now. Just without that ability to blink the Stalkers to where they need to be instantly. It's really a big problem, and we're going to see TLO take a 4th base while Mana is forced to sit on just his main and his natural. And TLO actually just straight up fighting these Stalkers right now, doing a pretty good job of it too. They do have their +1 air attack upgrade, so he's just feasting through all these Stalkers. There's nothing Mana can do about this. He's microing back as best he can, and with some more Stalkers getting warped, he might be able to push this away. I don't know. I really don't. Sentries finally arriving, getting their Guardian Shields up and running, but it's just going to be too little too late at this point. And another Stalker getting warped in. TLO finally going to turn around, but he's already happy with how this has gone. He has a 30 army supply lead, now a 50 army supply lead, almost doubling Mana's army supply right here. He, of course, has a good worker supply lead as well. And, of course, since he is on the additional 2 bases, his saturation is going to be much better than Mana's is. He's not going to be oversaturated in any way. All of those drones are going to be mining optimally, whereas some of the probes are getting in each other's way right now. Not a lot, but it does reduce their efficiency by some. And now Mana trying to move out once again, but TLO is ready. He's just going for this. The Needless is charging forward immediately. They are not really... Now they're focusing the Colossi. Okay, a lot of Lings going down right here to the combined might of the Colossi, getting a lot of kills. Will it really matter, though? I mean, TLO able to kill 2 Colossi, not able to get the 3rd, and that was a pretty good engagement there from Mana. I mean, yeah, most of what died there for TLO are Lings, and Lings are easily rebuildable, but even so, Mana very cost efficient. However, does it really matter? Does it really matter how cost efficient you can be when you're facing somebody who has doubled your bases? Probably not. And now TLO going to catch Mana out of position over here. He has no sentries to be able to force field, so this is going to be much better for TLO. Once again, Mana... I am hesitant to use the word wins this engagement. Once again, Mana is the one who stands his ground and is left with the larger army. However, TLO is 100% fine with trading inefficiently right now. He just wants to get some damage in whenever he can. As long as he stays on his 4 bases and keeps Mana down on 2, he's going to be in good shape. And now TLO just throwing wave after wave of Zerglings. Rip out wave after wave of Zerglings and Mutalisks at this army. Looks like he might finally be able to take it down. Unfortunately, a lot of Lings attacking the Zealots rather than the Mutalisks right here, so that does reduce their efficiency quite a bit. They're much better against the Stalkers than they are Zealots, but it doesn't really matter. Finally, TLO is going to be able to win, absolutely win the engagement, and there is the GGG. The GGG, the good guy Greg. There we go. There it is from Mao's Mana, and TLO going to take game number 1, currently leading this best of 3 series 1-0.